Good afternoon and welcome to the Google Local webinar. Let me know in the chat, where are you tuning in from? What brokerage you're with? Love to see who's on the call. I got a lot of people joining in right now. We got Arlene, we got Kristen, we got Crystal, Diane, Jean, Guillermo, Janie, Jason, Jenny. We got Roki Williams from Coldwell Banker, Diane Mitchell from Nyack, Wright Brothers Real Estate, Kristen from Time Real Estate in Delaware. We got Crystal from Oregon. Amazing, amazing. And let me know in the chat what it is you want to learn today, what it is you want to understand about Google Local. I'm going to be going over the history of Google. I'm going to be going over Google Local, how to get leads on Google, how to show up on the top of search. What is this whole Google Local thing? Pay per phone call. A lot of people really don't understand this. I'm going to uncover everything about it so that you have a full understanding of what the opportunity is with Google right now and what it is that they're building. They're actually building a really nice directory. And we also have John Luca on the call. I'm going to add him to the call as well. John Luca is one of our Google Local experts. Hello, John Luca. How you doing?
Hey, good. How are you doing, Alex?
I'm doing good. How's my audio?
It's perfect.
All right, yours is too.
Awesome.
All right, we got about 25 people on the call, 27 more people joining in. I know over 200 people registered for this webinar. Things show up in people's lives, but for those of you that are here, thank you for being here. Thanks for playing. And let me know right now, are you a Google Local client or not? Say yes or no in the chat so we know who's on here that is a client and who's on here that's not. All right, just to set everybody's expectations, this is going to be a 1-hour webinar. I'm going to try to do it in less time than that. We're covering Google Local today, and let's get into it. So Google Local is a way for you to get more leads and grow your business online. Now, Google has been around for a really long time. Obviously, everybody knows about Google search. Everybody knows about SEO and trying to get on the top of Google search. People have heard of Google AdWords and Google business pages. Well, what happened in 2020 is Google released this brand new thing called Google Local Service Ads. And this is where when you search for a realtor like Port Washington real estate agent or best realtor in Port Washington, New York, and these 3 ads show up on top, right? You ever wondered, like, have you seen these? Let me know in the chat if you've seen these ads on top that show off people's faces. Like, go on Google and put in best realtor in your town, and Google is going to display these 3 photos, right? And these 3 photos are going to show off realtors who are showing up on the top of search who have a Google Local Service ad. And they've got reviews. And if you click on them, you actually get connected to them. So has anybody on this call had this experience where they're on Google Local, they have an ad on the top of the screen, and somebody clicks on it and they actually call? Monica says, yes, but it's very expensive in my area. Yeah, and John Luca, can you speak to that about, we don't have to go into the cost specifically until a little bit later, but like, how does it vary from area to area? Are there different costs? Do people need to pay different prices? How does that work?
Yeah, so the cost varies quite a bit depending on the area. For areas like Long Island and Florida, those markets are very highly saturated. So on average, the cost will be a little higher. Typically per lead, it will range between, I want to say like 40 to 80 for a phone call lead, and then message leads are 50% of what a phone call lead is. And so the price really does vary in those areas.
Yeah, and that's the good news, right? Like, if you do Google AdWords, you're going to probably pay anywhere between $10 to $100 a click. What Google Local Service Ads is doing is allowing you to pay per phone call. And you get to choose if that phone call is a good phone call within 30 seconds. Do you want to stay on the phone with that person and pay for that phone call? So I think it's a much better concept than Google AdWords. I think it's a much more direct customer to agent service. However, it's not like you have a tremendous amount of leads, like you'd have a tremendous amount of clicks on your website. This is really about targeted advertising. You're targeting a geographic area. You're showing up on the top of search as a Google screened agent, as a Google guaranteed agent, they call it. And you do get the impressions, which are free. I love that part of it, that the impressions are totally free, and you only pay per phone call. So you don't pay per click, you just pay per phone call. Kind of interesting concept. This is what Google launched in 2020. So if I was to search best realtor near me, I would see these Google local service ads. And here's just some, and I'm going to go over it in a second, but let's show you an example of this. So if I go on to Google and I put best realtor, pick a town. Somebody give me a town in the chat. Give me your town where you do business. Salem. Salem what, Crystal? And Dallas. I'm going to try both of those. Salem, what's the state? Salem, Oregon. So best realtor, Salem, Oregon, right? Best realtor in Salem, Oregon. Boom. Having trouble typing today. And boom, these Google screened ads show up on the top. Okay. They show up above the AdWords. They show up above the Google business ads. They show up above the search engine optimized results. So they literally show up first with the picture of the realtor, with how many years they've been in business, with the number of reviews they have. So this is why we stress all the time that realtors need to have a lot of Google reviews. What Google is doing here is they're actually building a directory of the best and most qualified agents according to Google, okay? Because I know a lot of people go, well, that person's not in my area, or that person's not qualified. Well, Google's putting together this list, and then they're screening everything. They're recording every phone call. They're seeing what the response time is. They're seeing how much you're active on your leads. They have like all of this in an app. And then they're going to eventually have the best, cleanest, most highly qualified list over time. That's where Google is going with this. Google wants to serve up the best list of realtors that it can, based on the knowledge that they have. So if you only have 5 reviews, this is not for you. If you only have 2 reviews, this is not for you. I would say this is only for you if you have at least 25 reviews. So let me know in the chat if you have less than 25 reviews or more than 25 reviews. And it doesn't mean if it's less than 25, you don't have to get off the call. I just mean you need to get to 25 before this service could actually be really valuable to you. Okay, but it's great to learn about it so that you know what you need to do here. So Carol says I have more. Crystal says less. John says I have 97. Vipin says 63. Terry says less. Kelly says more. Crystal says working on it. Zania says I'm just getting started. Slightly more, less on Google. Kristen says less than 25 on Google, but collectively more on all the review sites. Amazing. So this is why us at RealGrader, we push Google reviews so much, because you need to compete against all of these people who have a high number of reviews. And I know a lot of people like Michelle say, I have a lot on Zillow, but not on Google. Well, you really need to focus on Google first. The move for reviews to Google first happened 2 years ago. Okay. Everybody who is top producers moved from getting Zillow reviews to getting Google reviews about 2 years ago. So time to catch up and time to grow on this platform, because Google's putting together this directory. Okay. So you kind of see how this works. I'm going to try one more area. I had somebody say Dallas. So let's put best realtor in Dallas, Texas. And here it is. 3 more Google screened people. Margie, United Real Estate, living in Dallas, Texas team. If I click on more agents in Dallas, there's this giant list of people who have the check mark. Okay. Now people get rotated. You want to get into this, Gianluca, a little bit? And by the way, Gianluca is an expert in Google Local. He's been working with our company for several years. He's set up over, I'm going to say over 200 Google Local service ads and accounts for businesses. He's seen everything out there. So he's a great guy to have on this call. I invited him to join because I'm not the expert, right? Like I know about all this stuff, but Gianluca is officially the expert on this. So there's your intro, Gianluca.
Thanks. Yeah, I pretty much live and breathe Google Local, at least for the past over a year. But yeah, based on how Google organizes how they want people to show towards the top is based on a few factors. One is ratings and reviews, so your rating score, the closer you are to five, and just the number of reviews you have. The most important one, however, is your response score. So you can even have less reviews than your competition. Like as you see there, Margie Clary, I'm not really sure how to pronounce her name, but she only has 6 reviews. She might have like a stellar response score. Like right as she gets that phone call, she's picking up, or if she gets a message, she's responding to it within 24 hours, or even faster than that. So because Google wants the person searching to also have a good experience. So they're not going to just put the person who pays the most at the top. They want the person who is going to be responsive to the people searching. So response score, very huge. Your budget also gets taken into account. If you have a budget of 10, $50 per week, you can't even have that on Google. They won't allow. But if you only have it so you can have one lead, if they fulfill that budget, your ad's going back down to the bottom. So yeah, ratings, reviews, response score is really important in the placement. And even if you're a new ad, Google will sometimes put you to the top so you can kind of get that response score in there. So Google can kind of get an idea of how many leads you get. So it's
They
pretty
give
much all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, they give everybody a chance to play. Then it's really up to you based on the algorithms, how much play you're going to get, how much exposure you're going to get. It's based on your reviews, but on your recommendation, it's based on your response time. There's a lot of different factors that go into it. And Jennifer had a great question, Jennifer Brilliant, which I happen to know Jennifer because I'm in Surfside, Jennifer, and you have a listing next door to me that I think you sold recently. So that's pretty crazy. So Jennifer, I'm going to just show Jennifer, for example, Jennifer Brilliant, realtor. She has a Google business page right here. That's a Google business page. That's not a Google local service ad. But if I put best realtor in Surfside, where she's doing a lot of business, I see. Congrats on that, because I see your signs everywhere. Boom, this is who shows up. So the OPS group at Compass is showing up. Isabel Godoy is showing up. Jimena Rosales is showing up. And then if I go more agents, there's a bunch more, right? Nancy Bachelor team is even showing up. John and Anna Salt. I know some of these people. So that's the difference between Google Business and Google Local Service ads. Jennifer says, thanks. So I think I made that clear. John says, is there a recommended weekly budget? I'll let Gianluca take that one.
So when it comes to advertising, usually I recommend starting at like 150 per week. Google does a weekly budget. That doesn't mean that that budget will get fulfilled for the week. Because say, you don't want to target rental leads and you get a call for a rental, you can dispute that. That dispute isn't immediate. Google reviews it, but it still takes the spot of that lead. So it's important to have buffer space. And depending on competition, a lot of times if we don't see the ads performing as well, we'll recommend increasing the budget. Because given if ratings and reviews are the same with your competition, Google will prioritize the ad with the higher budget. So that's kind of where that comes into play. If you see an ad not performing, increasing the budget can sometimes help boost that. But there's also, market conditions, so it's not always just the budget that is really, having the effect of the ad.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Gianluca. Is that clear for you, John? Let us know. Fantastic. Thank you. Awesome. Glad we're answering questions here. So I like this example. It's one of the few searches that actually demonstrates everything. I put best real estate agent in Miami. And the first thing I see is the Google local service ads on top. Okay. And yes, this recording will go out to everybody. So don't worry, John, we record everything. So Google local service ads on top. Then, and these are pay per phone call. Then you have Google AdWords here, and Upnest and Salazar Luxury Homes are advertising here. They're paying per click. Okay, so if I click on this, there's a certain price tag that goes along with that click. Here, if I click on it, there's no price tag, but if I call them, there is a price tag per phone call. Now, if I go below that, I have the Google business pages. There is no price per click or per phone call unless you're running a business service ad which honestly 99% of you are not, and nobody even knows that you could do that. But that's a good one to do too, okay? Is you can run Google business ads. And then below that is all of these websites that are search engine optimized. And here's just a note for some of you that are interested in like creating good content. These questions that Google poses here, these are some of the best topics to write blog posts on. These are the common questions that people look up. How do I find a good realtor in Miami? If you did a blog post and a social media post about that, it would rank really high. Who is the top selling agent in Florida? How much do luxury agents make? Right? These are top searches. Kind of a new thing I learned from Tristan Ahumada. That's how he comes up with a lot of his content. Okay, so kind of gave you the breakdown there. Was that useful? Hopefully, let me know in the chat. I'm going to keep moving along here. I want to give you a little bit about how this all came to be with this Google stuff. So let's just open up the chat over here on the side. Definitely useful. Sherry says, excellent. Awesome. Thank you so much. So Google has been around for a long time, actually since 1999. That's pretty much when I got in the industry with my mom. She was a realtor. I've been in the industry that long, kind of crazy to think about it. I used to talk about Google juice. I was talking about that in my meeting this morning. Literally would go to trade shows with a carton of orange juice, put a Google logo on it and call it Google juice. And I said, this is what realtors need, Google juice. Here we are 23 years later. The juice is still available. Google juice is still the name of the game. So you want to be looking at what's your Google juice. And your Google juice is like, how good are your reviews? How much are you showing up on search? How are your Google business pages? Are you doing Google local service ads? Are you doing YouTube? Because guess what? Google bought YouTube for 1.65 billion, and YouTube now makes 15 billion a year. And Google has changed the algorithms to start showing video. Why I'm bringing this up is just to show you the importance of Google. You need to have a Google business page in 2023. You need to focus on reviews on Google in 2023. You need to have a YouTube channel and start doing some video. And you need to consider if you have enough reviews to get on Google Local, right? And I would say if you have at least 25 reviews, it's time to start looking at Google Local. 60% of agents, though, don't have a Google business presence. So I want to ask all of you, and I've kind of asked you where you are with your reviews, but if you had 25, how many people on this call are already seeing the value of Google Local? They have at least 25 reviews, and you're considering, hey, maybe I should get on Google Local. Let me know, just say yes in the chat or say no, not yet for me. So say yes or say not yet. I like to use the word yet because that should be a goal. A goal should be, I want to get that many reviews and I do want to get there. So it's just not yet for me, right? So we got not yet, we got yes, we got not yet. Awesome. We got a nice mix here going. So check it out. I'm going to teach you everything between me and Gianluca. We're going to try to teach you everything we know about Google Local. So even if you're a not yet, you'll know what to expect down the road and how to set yourself up to win. And if you're like, yeah, I need this, we're going to show you what to do to get started. Okay, so this is Willie Harden. Willie Harden was a not yet guy, okay, a year ago. Willie Harden did not have a Google business page. He was not set up for Google Local. And we basically helped him get his Google business page set up. We set it up for him. And then we showed him how to get reviews using his digital card. Now he has 51 reviews on Google and he does Google Local and he closes about 4 deals a month, right? Or sorry, no, he gets 4 to 5 qualified leads a month and he closes 2 deals a month from it. Okay. And this is a guy that was a not yet. He wasn't on Google Local, but he said, Alex, I want to get there. So what do I got to do? I said, you got to get more reviews, Willie. And Willie went out and got a bunch of reviews and now he's crushing it. Mary says, I'm like Willie, need to get started. Absolutely. And it doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. We have a client, Barry Paley. He was, I'm just going to call him out. He was complaining to me, I can't get reviews. I can't get reviews fast enough. He had like 15, 20 reviews. You go on his Google business page now, he gets it. He has over 100 reviews, right? So these are what Google business pages look like. These are kind of where you want to be playing because a lot of people have 100 reviews, 153 reviews. I think one of these are our clients. Is that right, Gianluca?
Yep, Coldwell Banker Alliance. That's Lee Harris.
Yeah, so
His ad's
Lee
performing
Harris.
very well.
Yeah, Lee Harris is one of our clients. We set him up on Google Local. We help him with Google reviews, and he's doing well with his ad. And that's what his Google business page looks like. So now look at the Google business page. I mean, sorry, the Google local service ad. Again, they're two different things. Google business page is one thing. Google local service ad is another thing. They do have something in common though. They both feed off the same list of reviews. Okay. Now, in addition to that, you can also get reviews on your Google local service ad. Now, I'm going to make an assumption, and Gianluca, tell me if I'm right or wrong here, but I would think that if they got their reviews on their Google business page, that's the better place to get them than just on their local service ad.
Exactly. When you get it on your Google business page, you always own that. So if you were to decide, oh, I don't want to do advertising anymore, your business page will always have those reviews. If you get it on the ad, it'll only show on the ad, and it won't show up on your Google My Business page. So getting it on your
This
Google My
is
Business page, it shows up on both.
That's big, everybody. Okay. Take note of this because there's a lot of vendors that I know that promote you to get your Google business reviews on your ad. And then when your ad goes away, guess what you got? Zero. You got nothing, right? But if you get them on your Google business page, your ad will pull it and sync with your Google business page. I love what Mandy wrote here. She's like, I was an early adopter, closed 17 deals from local service ads in 2021. Then our market got saturated. I only closed 1 or 2 in 2022. Any suggestions to stand out? Mandy, or I don't know if you were one of our clients or somebody else's, we'd have to look at your local service ad to see what we could do to optimize it. So if you want to schedule a call, just put your phone number in the chat and we can make sure to reach out to you and at least analyze your account. These are some more examples. I think this is Jennifer. Jennifer is one of our clients, right? She has 115 reviews on her Google business page, which reflect on her Google local service ad. She's crushing it. You can see that her compared to everybody else, she's got way more reviews. So generally speaking, people who have the highest amount of reviews are the ones who get called. Some people prefer the 5-star rating, so they look at that. But if you had both a 5-star rating and a ton of reviews, that's going to make you stand out amongst everybody else. Another thing that makes you stand out is the picture. Okay. She has her picture cut out here. Looks pretty good. These people have a background, not as good. Right. And of course, all of this is subjective, but you want to look at the holistic approach of your ad. Does it have a 5-star rating? Do I have a lot of reviews? What does my photo look like? Is it blurry? Is it clear? Am I smiling? Right? I mean, if we put a big sad face on here, do you think you're going to get a phone call? Not so much. Just assuming. I don't know for sure, but I wouldn't test it.
Sometimes they don't, but for the most part, a really good high quality photo is very important. Even like if you even are in the lower end of the ratings and reviews, a real good professional headshot is extremely important. No one, if you have a bathroom selfie, forget about it. Don't even have a Google local ad if that's going to be your photo. A good professional photo is extremely important when advertising.
Totally. And then also the thing is, how often are you open? Are you open 24/7? Are you 16 years in business? Right? Who else do we have here? We got Paul Anurama, who's doing Google Local. Olga Zakinova did Google Local. Stephen Lawrence. These are just all different examples. Gene says you suggested no background with a professional photo. I don't know what is Gianluca. What do you recommend nowadays? Do you recommend no background or do you recommend background or it depends?
I mean, honestly, it does depend on, especially like the lighting of the headshot. If it's kind of a dark-ish lighting and you have the no background, it kind of looks a little strange. So a background would be fine, I would say. If it's a professional headshot, that it should be good, background or no background.
Yeah, like looking at these three, I think this is a good example, like Olga's photo versus Janine's versus Karen's. My preference would be Olga's. It's centered, it looks professional. Janine's is cut off, Karen's is cut off, right? So think about these things when you're looking at your Google local service ad. Here's another example, best realtor in Great Neck, Helena Veloso. We set up her ad, Antoinette Caruso. I can keep on going, so many different examples, but let me give you the history of this thing. I spoke about how Google started in 1998. right? And it was all about search engine optimization. And the whole purpose of Google was to present the best results. That's why Google won in the war of search engines. Now, I know Bing is making a comeback thanks to ChatGPT and but I don't think so, personally. I think Google's still going to dominate, and it's currently dominating. So they always are focused on the best results. So what they did is they launched AdWords, which I think messed up their search engine results, because now companies could show up on top and just pay to be there, regardless if they were the right results for the person. Okay. Then Google made a move towards Google local businesses with Google business pages. That was a great move because that put the local business owners on top again. Okay. Now, why I'm going with this story is because I love where Google is going with local service ads. Guess who can't play on Google local service ads? Zillow can't play. Zillow's not allowed to play on Google local service ads. You'll never see Zillow here. Okay. Who else can't play? Redfin. Redfin can't play, right? Only individual agents or individual brokers or individual team leaders can play. Only local people. Yeah, Carol says that's awesome. I think that's awesome and fair, finally, right? Because, I mean, we all got, I'm going to say, messed up with the fact that AdWords got driven up to these crazy prices because companies like Zillow and Realtor and all these companies drove up the ad spend, right? I remember when you could spend 10 cents a click. Now you can't even touch that. So this stays local. That's why they call it Google local service ads. That's what it looks like. And here's the breakdown of like everything. Service ads on top, ads next, Google Maps, Google Business, and then SEO. So now you kind of have the full anatomy of Google, how ads and search engines work. Hopefully that was helpful. Let me know. And so now let's get into a little more of what it takes to be Google Local Certified or Google Local Guaranteed. They put you through a few different things, okay? First of all, they screen you. And this is a process. It does take quite a few weeks, and I've seen a lot of people get stuck in this process. Okay, we help our clients through this process. That's what Gianluca does. But the Google screening process, at the end of it, you get a Google Guaranteed badge, you get a check mark, and now you can do the pay-per-lead process. But they don't let everybody in. Okay, here's the things they're looking for. Okay, that's the check mark. I want to get into the things they're looking for. Where do I have it? Here we go. They need to verify your real estate license. And I think it varies from state to state, right, Gianluca? But I mean, they do have to look you up.
Yeah.
They need to go through a Google screening process to check that you have a Google business page and that it has reviews on it. They won't let you in if you don't have at least have a Google business page. They also need to check your insurance. Now, your broker has insurance, so that's not a big deal, but you do have to get the policy in a PDF and upload it. Okay, so these are just some of the checkpoints to be Google verified. Now, can you see how Google is kind of differentiating? They're making it a little bit harder for you to get in, so not just everybody can be there. And then they're also going to display you if you're responsive, if you have a lot of reviews, if you're using the app, all of that. Okay, then you need to upload an image and a headshot. Now, you can't have two heads, right? There's no steak with two heads. There's no realtor with two heads. So the mother-daughter team, the father-son team, the husband-wife team can't happen on Google Local. You have to pick one, right, Gianluca?
Correct.
No big team can be on Google Local unless you individually, like we had a team that set up a Google Local for each one of their team members. You could do that, but you can't have one big team picture. Okay, you have ongoing dynamic bid management, which means that you must keep a credit card on file with Google to pay for the phone calls. If your credit card expires or you take away your credit card, your ad gets taken away. That's why it's important to have somebody managing this and not try to really manage it yourself, although you can. I do have people that manage it themselves. Power to them. If they think that's the best use of their time, go for it. I don't personally. I don't run my own Facebook ads. I would never run my own Google Local ad. But if you want to go for it, you totally can. We give you a dedicated account manager. And this is your dedicated account manager right here on the call, Mr. Gianluca. So if
Hello, everyone.
if you do need help with this, Gianluca would personally get on a call with you to get your ad set up once you sign up. Okay. And he helps get you through the approval process. Now, here's an example. Benjamin Howell, he wasn't sure. He went through the process with Gianluca. He got everything set up. He only had 20 reviews at the time. Okay. But back then, you could get away with 20 reviews. I wouldn't do it with less than 25 right now. So he said, I'm already getting leads from Google, and about 5 of the leads are actively working with my team. 1 of them is already under contract. Extremely happy to have completed my Google local service ads with RealGrader. The setup process was very smooth, and the step-by-step guidance through the screening process was extremely helpful. My ad went live within 2 weeks from my onboarding call. So Gianluca is very effective. He's a great manager. He keeps in touch with you. So Fernando says, Luca, would you please call me? He already left the phone number. Gianluca, if you could do me a favor, just grab phone numbers for people, just copy and paste anybody who needs a phone call, and we'll make sure to get that taken care of. If anybody else is, I know everybody's time is valuable, and I'm going to go through a lot more information here, but if you're looking at this and you're like, I already know I need a phone call to talk about this, feel free to drop your phone number in the chat, and we'll make sure that one of our team members reaches out and explains this to you and sees if it's a fit for you. It's not a fit for everybody, okay? I'm just being clear. We have to kind of look at it and say, is this a good fit for you? We don't take on clients just to take on clients at this point. We look at it and we go, is it going to be successful? Is it saturated? Is it not? And yeah, this is totally different from Bird's Eye, whoever posted that. Let's keep going here. Feel free to post your numbers. I see a lot of people posting their phone numbers, so that's great. We'll reach out to you. So we apply the Google Guarantee Badge. We manage your local campaign. And now here's the things that are going to increase your odds of obtaining a high quality phone call. Okay. Number 1 is have a well-optimized Google business page. That's why if you didn't get optimized by us and you want to transfer over to us, we have to analyze your account. We're not just going to take you in. Because if you don't, I mean, Gianluca's been there, right, Gianluca, where you took over an account by another company and it was just a mess on their Google local, on their Google business page. And there wasn't much we could do with it sometimes. So we have to have a well-optimized Google business page. Number 2 is we have to have at least 25 5-star reviews, right? We could take you with less. The problem is then you're going to call us and complain and say, I'm not getting enough phone calls. We know how this works. If you don't have at least 25 reviews, you're not going to get enough phone calls to make it worth it. Number 3 is have your online presence fully set up. It's very important that if we Google you, you look good. Most of our clients have been through the digital optimization, so they're good to go. Have the Instacart set up on your profiles. Why? Because we want you to make sure you're using your digital card to get more Google reviews. That's how our clients are doing it. Send a request for reviews to all your contacts. Yes, the more reviews you have, the better your Google local ad does. So Callie says, I noticed a big drop in local service calls last year when the market slowed down. Listen, that's the case with the market. I'm not going to say it's Google local. It's the market in general. However, if you have a saturated market, yes, there's only X amount of phone calls that Google gets, and they distribute it amongst the agents. So it could be saturated. And that's why it's good for us to look at it and say, are you a good fit or not? Does that make sense, Kelly? Right. Yes. Perfect. Compose a compelling bio. It's important that you have a good bio and that you're doing the office hours and things like that and have a professional headshot. Very important to get high quality leads. Okay. So those are some of the things. Ryan Coyne is one of my buddies. He's the CTO of Sirhan. He says Google Local is clearly the next phase of digital marketing evolution. It's going to help us dominate even further in our market of NYC. That's why we're partnering with RealGrader. Crystal Jeter is a client of ours. We set her up on her optimization. We set her up on Google local service ads. I think she's on the call. Crystal, if you have any comments, feel free to put it in the chat. How has it been working? Stephen Levin is another client of ours. Crystal has seen over 10 leads every month since July. So I think that's pretty consistent. Getting verified, setting your budget. And for those of you that are considering doing this, this is what we include in our service. We include a VIP onboarding with Gianluca, right? He's our dedicated guy right now for this. That's a $397 value. He'll guide you through the Google screening process to make sure you don't get in what we call the Google loop. right? There's this loop, like you don't get approved and then it takes forever, basically. So we want to make sure we do it right the first time. He's going to make sure he sets up your campaign, meaning upload the headshot, the bio, link it to your Google business page, do all the right settings geographically, because you can choose your market service areas. He's going to manage the bid, which is how much you're going to pay per phone call. He'll communicate that with you, so you make sure you're on the same page. He'll make sure the monthly budget isn't getting exceeded because he sets a max on that, and he's doing lead optimization. He analyzes the results and the recommendations and sends a monthly report. We also make sure that your Google business is optimized. We help you to get more reviews through different webinars and workshops that we have. You have a dedicated account manager, streamlined support system, and early access whenever we have new beta products for Google. So that's what's included. The total value of this is $29.70. The online price is $1,500, and we offer it as an investment of $947. So for just $947, we'll make sure that your Google ad gets up and running as long as you're a fit, right? So we're not going to take people that aren't a fit, and we're going to make sure that it gets set up the right way. That's the one-time setup fee of $947. On this account, Lucky, if they have Google local service ads in Canada for your area, yes, we can do it. And this is the price, it's USD.
Just a side note, unfortunately, local service ads for realtors are only available in the US. I don't know when it will be available in Canada, but we'll let our agents in Canada know when it is available if Google decides to bring it to there.
Thanks for letting me know that. I didn't even know that myself.
Yeah.
I know that we deal with realtor.ca versus realtor.com, and I know that we don't have homes.com and Zillow in Canada, but I didn't know about Google local service ads. So that's perfect. Lucky, now you know. So this is what it looks like to get verified. We go through putting in the headshot, the real estate agent license gets passed. We submit and resubmit the proof of insurance. We do the background. They do a background check on you, by the way. I forgot to mention that. They actually do a background check on you to make sure that you don't have any criminal activities. They're really being careful here with Google, okay? Then we manage the bid, then the billing information, then the real estate license, and then you get your badge, okay? What is the monthly fee? Perfect question, John. So the monthly fee is $150 a month for us to manage the account for you. There's no contract. We just get it up and running. We'd like to see you stick with it for at least 3 months so that you actually can measure the results properly. But it's $150 a month, and that's for an ad spend of up to $600. And usually our clients don't exceed $600. We have a very few that go bigger than that. I think we have some at 1,000. Gianluca, would you know better?
Yep. Yeah, there's some that, basically have a virtual limitless budget. So
they spend $300 a month for us to manage their campaign. But if you're just like 90% of the clients we work with, it's $150 a month ad budget. Does that answer your question, John? And let me just check the other questions here. Kristen says, I'm working on getting all my reviews onto Google, but I've heard that if I have too many reviews show at once, they deem it suspicious. That is true. So be careful. Don't try to like bombard your Google business account with reviews, but just kind of like softly gain more reviews over time.
Yeah, that's also, if I could just chime in with that. So Google basically has their own like system that they use to vet reviews. A lot of times this could cause even legitimate reviews to not display. And there really is like no way that, you can't really contact Google support and be like, hey, why isn't this review showing? It's basically an AI that removes the review and it cannot be retrieved. So just keep that in mind, but don't let that deter you. It is a numbers game. You just gotta, keep asking friends, family, people you've worked with, anyone for reviews. And some may get removed, but it is a numbers game, and all the top agents are playing that game.
Perfect. So let me answer a couple of these questions that just streamed in. So Terry says, can you break it down for me? Like, how does it work? So it's a $947 setup fee for us to create the Google local ad for you and get it all set up and managed. It's $150 a month to us to manage the campaign. And then you choose how much you want to spend each month. You could spend up to $600 a month. You could spend, what's the minimum spend you recommend, Gianluca?
The Usually the starting one is 150. The minimum will vary on the state, and that's we'll have a you'll get a sorry, my headphones are telling me the battery's low. But the when setting up the ad, when based on the locations that you're targeting, Google will tell you like what the minimum is that you can spend. I don't recommend the minimum because saying that would basically say, yeah, you can get one lead per week. If that lead is illegitimate, to dispute it, that can basically eat up whatever that lead is, even though it's getting disputed, and you can get refunded for that lead. I would say 150 is kind of where you want to put it, and then you can kind of determine how the ad's performance from there. Whether it's like, oh, your ad's performing really well, we can't handle all these leads, let's reduce a little bit, or oh, wow, this isn't, we're not really getting any leads, let's increase it so that we can try and beat out our competition that may look like have the same relative number of ratings and reviews as us. So it really is just like a process where we monitor so that we can make adjustments because there's no kind of one size fits all with these ads. And that's kind of the value that this is because I work with hundreds of them and they all vary. Even some with less reviews can perform crazy well. And then some with a ton of reviews may not perform well at all. Like if you're a realtor in Ohio right now, no one's really looking for an agent there because of the chemical explosion. So like there's a lot of exterior factors that can, come into play when it comes to advertising.
Totally. And the cost per lead, what would you say it is about now? I know you mentioned it before. Is it like 40 to 80?
Yeah, it roughly around like 40 to 80 and it varies. The message leads that you can get that come in via email, those are typically 50% of what a phone call lead is. And I just want to note the budget you put in does not mean that you'll spend that. So think of it as the budget is just you're setting the cap that you want to spend.
It's a
And then,
max. Yeah, you're setting
yeah,
a max budget. So like, you pay $947 for us to set it up. You pay $150 a month for us to manage it. And you can set a max budget of, let's say, $150 a month or $300 a month or $600 a month, right? That's generally what we see. There
per
are,
week.
yep. And I see a lot. Let's talk a little bit about disputing. And I know there's also questions about rental leads that come in. Some people are only looking for residential. We know we can't control the types of leads that come in right now. Google doesn't give you that capability, but they do give you the ability to dispute leads, right? So you want to talk about that a little bit, Gianluca?
Yeah, absolutely. So even Alex, if you can go back to one of the like sort of find realtor near me, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, if you could just quickly, and then yeah, just do more real estate agents. And so as you can see, there's a choose a service right there. So this is how people searching, they may like narrow their search down. They may click like rentals. A lot of agents don't like to target rentals because it's not as big of a payday. But some people, depending on how they search, they may in their mind think, oh, I want a rental, and then they just search find realtor near me. Google's going to show you them that they're going to show your ad to them because they don't know they're specifically looking for a rental, even if you're not doing rentals. So that's why you can still kind of get like a rental lead. Um, I'm not sure if I'm making total
No,
sense with that.
you're fine. I mean,
Yeah,
I know everybody would love to just get the perfect leads. The thing is,
yeah,
I mean, even when you're on Zillow, rental leads were coming through too, right? I mean, Google's getting better at it. They're not there yet. I wish that they had a separate search for like, I'm looking for the best renter, like rental agent. I'm looking for the best residential real estate agent, but they're not quite there. They do this drop down and they let you select from your dashboard which ones apply to you. So that's why, like in the selection process, if you don't check rentals, you should be able to dispute some of those. And I know sometimes they're tough about disputes and sometimes not.
yeah. It's important when you do get when you do get a phone call that's from the Google local ad, the caller ID will just show the phone number, but when you pick up the phone, there will be a prompt that says, "Oh, this is from your local service ad," and then it'll connect you to who's ever calling you. From there, it can be it may even be a business solicitation, but the nice thing with those, when you get those, if it's less than 30 seconds, it's automatically disputed. So if you're like, oh, sorry, I'm not interested, click, it's done. You won't be charged. If it takes a while for the person on the phone to get to the point, you're not targeting rentals, but after a minute or so, they're like, oh, this is for a rental, by the way. And you're like, oh, sorry, I don't do rentals. And it's very important to say that, sorry, I don't do rentals. So Google, when they listen back to the recording, it doesn't sound like you accepted the lead. If you say, oh, let me get your contact information and I'll send you to someone else, you're still accepting that lead because you're taking that lead from Google and then you're sending them somewhere else. Google
Right.
would rather it just go right back to Google. They'll search in Google again and they'll find someone who does target rentals. So that's why it's one really important to make it clear on the recording that you're disputing that lead.
Yep. And you do also, this is important to note that Google has an app for all this. So if you're using Google Local Ads or you plan to use it, you need to use the app, you need to have it downloaded, and you need to tag the people that come through Google Local. That's going to increase your ability to get leads. The more active you are in this app, the more they reward you. Okay, so that's an important note. These are the different types you can have: buyer's agent, first-time home buyer. This is how the geographic service areas work. You can choose different service areas, so you can actually choose where you want your ad to show. I have some clients that choose lots of areas, but then they're diluting their budget. I have some clients that choose just a few areas, and that might work for them depending on how saturated the market is or not. This is a great example. I was pleased when I ran into her at the National Association of Realtors event just recently. Let me make sure my audio is on. Stop share. So I just want you to know there are real people getting real business out of this. Let's go new share, share sound, apply.
Sheila Doney with Remax Accent in Richmond Hill, Georgia. I am right outside of Savannah, Georgia. I met Real Grader at NAR's mid-year in DC. I signed up for the Google Local at that time and some other products they have. I could not be happier. I've got about 5 deals so far. I'm working a 6th. 2 of them were listings, 1 of them was property management, the rest were buyers. I probably have made about $8,000 since May. I couldn't be happier. I will be keeping the product.
So that was pretty cool to run into her and see that kind of results. I didn't even know because she didn't tell us. John Luca was probably surprised too. We know we're out here trying to advertise and bring leads to everybody, but we get a lot of the phone calls like, hey, it's not working for me, Alex or John Luca, what's going on? But we never hear about the success stories until we run into them at a show. So those success stories do happen a lot. And these are costly mistakes to avoid. Okay, I want to make sure if you're going to try to do this on your own, I don't recommend it, but at least I'm going to give you the information to be a little careful. We do recommend working with an expert, just like I recommend. I personally use a realtor. I don't try to list my home on my own. But if you're going to miss the mark on the Google check mark, that's not a good thing. Making sure your profile is not linked to the right Google business page, right? It's got to be linked to the right Google business page. Sometimes we see poor naming structures for the Google ads. That's a big one. The way you name the ad is actually part of the advertising. It's like part of the billboard. Poor optimization on the Google ad. We see that a lot. Getting in a Google loop for the insurance approval. That's a big one where people get stuck in that process. Getting a loop on the background check and the screening process. John Luca knows how to take everybody through that and get them approved. Trying to cover too much ground. Like you get in there and you're just like, I want to put my ad everywhere. Not the best idea. Okay, we got to be very careful where your ad gets placed. Sometimes the bid management, not the big management, but the bid management is not optimized. We want to make sure we optimize that properly. Sometimes the ad settings are not optimized. And then the nice thing about having a manager is, let's say you go on vacation, you just let us know. We'll pause your ad for you, right? No reason to have those phone calls coming through if you can't answer. So that's where the wasting ad budget happens. We see that happen too. Poor optimization on hours of operation, low response time, not using the app to dispute leads, not enough Google reviews. That's the biggest one, okay? No review process or review game, and the list goes on and on. And that's why we came up with this service, is because we saw a lot of realtors struggling with it. We wanted to help a lot of realtors get it implemented and get it managed. So what's the cost to do it right? It's simple. It's $947 for us to set up the campaign for you professionally, properly, and get it approved, get it screened, all of that good stuff. You work directly with John Luca. He's a real human being right here in the USA, and he's happy to help you. Hi, John Luca. Are you a computer? Are you AI? No, you're not AI.
No, I'm human.
And this is what it looks like as far as management fee, $150 a month. The column on the left is typically what people go for. Now, the average leads per month, we can't guarantee that. I'm not even going to say I guarantee it. It depends on Google. but $150 a month to manage it. And I would do a maximum ad spend of $600 a month. You could do $150 a month. You could do $300. You could do $225. But it's really what Google is able to generate for you that determines how much you're going to spend. Sometimes we can't even max. I've had clients say, I'll go $5,000 a month, Alex. We can't get you $5,000 worth of leads because Google doesn't have that many, right? So I kind of say play in the left column and then ramp up if you see success. It's the same thing I do with Facebook ads. I don't go all in on Facebook ads. I test it. If it's working, I'll double down. Make sense? Let me know in the chat if this pricing makes sense or if there's any questions about it. Let me check the questions here. So we got, Annie says, we do have it unchecked, but still tough getting it disputed sometimes. Okay, that's on the column, on the categories. Yeah, it's kind of Google subjective. Roki says, so what would you say would be the number of reviews that you could get per month from past clients to avoid suspicious activity? I think you can get 25 reviews a month and not have suspicious activity. As a company, we probably get we've gotten even 50 in a month, right? So I don't think that's suspicious. What's suspicious is 25 in a day, right? Like slamming it with reviews on one day, and they're not even really well written. There's certain triggers that Google knows, hey, are you trying to like pull off false reviews? So you just have to be, kind of calm and patient about it. Perfect. Roki says, got it. So what's included here with this package? I don't see any other questions, so I'll keep moving. VIP onboarding, guidance through the screening process, setting up your campaign for success, ongoing dynamic bid management, monthly bud and lead optimization, analysis of results and recommendations, Google profile assistance, dedicated account manager. Once again, price is $947. If you're interested in getting started, I'm going to put the link in the chat. And if you just want us to contact you, we can contact you. Just put your phone number in there. But this is the link to get signed up. I know Fernando says, please call me. I have another meeting at 3. Can you call me right now? I'm going to check with our team and make sure we can get somebody to call you, Fernando. But for those of you that are like, listen, I know I want this. Sounds good. You guys sound like you know what you're talking about. We do know what we're talking about. We don't just sound like it. We've done a lot of this. We've troubleshooted a lot of this. So we've seen everything from taking over accounts from other companies to fixing people's suspended Google business pages to reactivating ads for people. When it works, it works. And when it doesn't, it doesn't. But it's really nice to be on the list of Google screened agents and to have the check mark. So this is what's included. If you click on this link, it'll take you to this page. And this page will break down everything that's included. So we're going to create your Google local account. We're going to optimize your service areas. We're going to verify your Google business page and reviews. We're going to get your license checked. We're going to stay with you to make sure that that insurance document is good, that your Department of State license is good, and that your background check is completed. And we're going to adjust the budgets, and then we're going to launch the campaign. You don't get charged the $150 a month until your campaign is launched. So all we're charging today is $947. That's just to reserve your spot with Gianluca, get on a call, get it set up. And if you're not a fit, he's going to tell you and we'll refund you. Because the last thing we want to do is take on a client that's not a fit. We've done that plenty of times in our life and it's not a fun experience. So, but if you know it's for you and you want to go for it, this is it. This is where you put in your account information. You put in your first name, your last name, your phone number, your company, your email address, your billing zip code. Then on the next screen, you put in your credit card, and then you're going to get access to Gianluca's calendar and you'll book your onboarding call. Anything else you want to add, Gianluca?
Yeah, there's actually one thing. So if you did your Google local ad through HomeSnap, and we've run into this issue before, HomeSnap will not give you access to the ad. They won't give us access to the ad. They'll just cancel it. So it's annoying. So if you have it through HomeSnap and you want to have it through us, HomeSnap just they won't give you out your ad. We make sure you're connected to your ad. We give you your ad ID.
So what do you do in that case? Do you just have to start over?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yep. Daniela is asking for the link. I'm going to put that in the chat for you, Daniela. If you put your phone number, I can also text it to you. And Carol says this is a great service and would definitely utilize when I get my business page started. Do you offer that as well? We do, Carol. So we can set up your Google business page for you the right way. We can also set up other profiles like your Facebook business page, your Instagram, your LinkedIn. If you just need the Google business page, I think we charge $250. Is that accurate? To set
I
up the
think
Google
it's
business page?
I think it's around 250, maybe 300. I don't
Yep.
remember the exact number.
So yeah, Carol, if you want us to set that up, you could sign up for this package and then we'll add the 250 to it to set up your Google business page. Annie says, do I sign up or do we need an assessment first? Annie, if you know you want it, you can sign up. If we see that you're not a fit, we'll refund you. But how we would know is if you have at least 25 reviews, okay? If you're not at 25 reviews yet, don't bother. Work on getting your reviews and then reach out to us and we're happy to help you. Do we have testimonials? Yeah, we have a lot of testimonials, Terry. I think I revealed a few of them. We had Benjamin Howell, Willie Hardin. Name a few, John Luca. I had them before on the screen.
Oh, we had Sheila, she had the video testimonial.
Yep. And you can feel
And
free to
then-
contact any of these clients. Contact Willie, contact Sheila. They'll all tell you great things about us. We've been in business since 2018. We have over 480 reviews on Google Business, 5 stars, and we're just partnering up with the National Association of Realtors. So we're expanding nationwide. Annie says she's at 40 reviews now, so you're good to go, Annie. You could sign
Yeah.
up for this, no problem. That's a perfect place to be. Jennifer says Real Grader is amazing. Ask them to set up all your profiles in Google Business page. Jennifer is one of our longtime clients. Thank you, Jennifer. Good to see your signs in my neighborhood too. That was pretty cool. I remember when we met at Sotheby's. Fernando says you can check your work already at thepaisgrupo.com. Is that a website we did for you, Fernando? I'm not even sure. So yeah, any other questions for anybody? If anybody needs a phone call, put your cell phone in the chat and we'll make sure. Annie says we have your Instacart since you opened. Heart sign. Awesome, Annie. I love to hear that. We just partnered with the Miami Association of Realtors with our digital card. All the members now have a version of our digital card, which is pretty huge, 65,000 agents. So we're excited where we're growing and where it's going. I'm going to drop the link one more time for John over here. And I'll stay with anybody that's signing up right now. I want to make sure that you get your onboarding call booked. So once you go through the process of putting in your information and you get to the calendar, make sure you just let me know in the chat, hey, I'm done. I signed up, and let me know the date and time of your call. Annie says, congratulations. Thank you. Fernando says, I'm also a member of association. Yeah, Fernando, make sure you check out, if you don't have the digital card, check out the free version that we provided to the Miami members. There's the link, Jason, as well. And let me just go back for a second to answer some of these questions while people are getting signed up. Oh, let me answer a little bit of this, like why we're unique. So a lot of people ask, like, what's so different about you all with the Google local ad? Oh, sorry, the link for everyone. John Luca, you didn't help me there? I was putting it to panelists only. There you go, everybody. There's the link for everybody. I've been keeping you in suspense for too long. So
I didn't
just
even
put the
realize.
link in the chat. I was apparently just sending it to myself and the panelists. Funny guy over here trying to get people hooked up, and I'm just sending it to myself all day.
I just realized because I was in the same chat you are, so I was getting the link. So I was like, oh, they must be getting it too.
Yeah. So there you go. So as you go through that process, what you'll see is this page. You can put in your name, your information, your billing zip code, hit subscribe, put in your credit card info. You'll only get charged $9.47 today. No management fee, no ad budget fee. Once John Luca gets you set up, he'll put your credit card on file with Google, and that's where they're going to charge you per phone call. And then we'll start our management fee of $150 a month. So it's a very safe process. You know, it's only if it works for you, right?
Yeah, no cancellation fee. You know, you can even be like, oh, I want to pause this now and maybe try again in 3 months. So we can always do that too.
Awesome. And Courtney, happy to review your account as well. Thank you for that. And Mary says, I need to work on reviews first. Carol says, I'll review the replay while driving. And then let me just go back to this. What makes us unique? I mean, I think the biggest thing is our expertise in the field. Like at this point, when we first started, it was new to us, right? Like this is a very new thing, Google Local Service Ads. And we've learned a lot by managing so many accounts and taking over accounts from other vendors and readdressing and reactivating people's Google business ads and pages. So we come from a background. I've got over 21 years of experience in SEO, Google AdWords. We figured out our 21-step process finally for the Google local ad optimization. We have a proven process for getting top placement. Our clients have top placement in over 50 cities. And we've set up over 9,500. Now, this is old information. We've done over 9,500 Google business pages. So we know a thing or two about Google business and Google local ads. Your setup covers more than just a basic setup. We study the service areas, the proximity to location, the reviews, and your overall brand. We're looking at overall campaign success. Our commitment is ongoing service, analytics, and support. So we provide monthly reports. Gianluca actually reviews everybody's account every month and sends a report. Okay, quality control on the ad based on the results. Google business page verification and make sure it's connected. Long-term campaign success strategy versus short-term quantity of leads, depending on what your focus is. Expert assistance on the screening process and background check. All of this, even Google local app training, you can get on a call with Gianluca and he'll show you how to use the app. So, I mean, we try to do customized approach to providing service here with these. Everybody's a little bit different and it doesn't always work out for everybody, but we do know how to get it set up to give it the best chance for success. Anything else you want to add, Gianluca?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. I see actually in the chat, Carol asked, my Google local service ads profile is linked to a deactivated email. What should I do? A lot of times, if it's like an email you had with another brokerage, it might be getting forwarded to another email. That's something that we would contact Google to see if, if there's any way we can attach another email to that. If we were doing that, but if you're working it on by yourself, you need to contact Google local service ad support to try and see if they can do anything.
Awesome. So I'm going to drop the link one more time for everybody in there. And just by a show of chat, let me know who's looking to move forward with this, who still has questions, so I can make sure to reach out to you and support you in getting signed up or in answering your questions. If you just want to put in the chat, I'm going ahead, or I have questions. Terry says, I'm ready to sign up. Awesome, Terry. Let me know if you have any trouble with the link. Jeremy says, no, thanks. No problem. Hope the information was useful, Jeremy. Let us know also what's your biggest takeaway from all this? What do you see as the thing that you're going to implement? Awesome. John says, almost 100% sure I would like to, but I would like to talk first. No problem, John. We're going to get somebody to reach out to you. As long as you put your cell phone up above, you should be good to go. And I'm here for any other questions that you might have. So hit me up. I got 3 more minutes and then I got to hop to my next call. Perfect, John. Thanks for your number. Michael says, interesting getting started, more info. Perfect. Michael will reach out. Kristen says, I'll work on my reviews and getting my Instacart set up first, and then I'll definitely be interested. Awesome, Kristen. Need to work on my reviews first. Perfect. So now can everybody understand why I talk about so much about Google reviews, right? I mean, it's like, this is where Google's going and who knows what they're going to do next, right? But it's clear to me that they are looking at who's got Google reviews, who's got the best ranking, and that's how they're making recommendations. Nordine Accardi is on the call. Wow, long time, Nordine. I've been to Nordine's house even. Back in Long Island, back in the day. Yes, Nordine, I'll definitely have somebody reach out to you. Thanks for chatting. Annie says, thanks, Alex and John. We'll be ready to go forward, but have a conference. We'll be flying back on Thursday. Can we talk next Friday, please? Absolutely, Annie. We'll reach out to you. I think this is a great tag team, Gianluca, because I can talk about this stuff all day, theoretically, but you have the expertise because you're in there working those accounts. So I think that was a good combo.
There's not much I don't know about Google Local. It's any question about it, it's kind of like, oh, I already know the answer to that.
Right.
It's I dream about Google Local. It's crazy.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad this was useful. This is recorded. We will send the information out. And Katerina, who's on the call, she'll actually be emailing the replay to everybody, along with any links to schedule an appointment or to sign up if you want to. Those that left your cell phone numbers, we will reach out to you. Expect a text message from our team to schedule an appointment. And then we'll be doing phone calls as well. And I thank you all for your time today.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Gianluca.
My pleasure.